destinations on there, but we're live. Are we live?
We are live. What is up,
All
everybody?
right, into the microphone.
Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to, actually, this is episode number 34, a
And that's the
special
camera.
edition of the Tattoo
No.
Weekly,
That one, just that one.
live from Hell City with all of us in person for the very first episode together. We've been around for the third day now at Hell City. Derb has thrown an amazing event. We'll hear some from people who have been. We'll also show you some of the events and talk about our reviews.
I think we're gonna bring up some guests really quick too. I know that Bruno's here and he's going to take Jesse Smith's seminar. So as we get into it, I'll hop out and then he can hop in. And
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. It's always this is always such a good event. It's amazing how smoothly such a large event runs. Like, it's one thing when there's 50 booths or something like that. You're like, I think I could manage that. When you come here and you see how smoothly this many booths run, you're like, wow.
Yeah, I looked at the list. It was like over 150. It was like 160 booths. I was like, oh man, that is a lot of booths.
That's a lot to manage. And yeah, Derb's a pro.
Hold on, you're tugging the mic. We're good. I wouldn't change anything at this point. Just
he's a pro. He's done this a lot. And, so what's our plan? We're going to talk about just about the show so far, maybe about some of the. Do we know who's won awards? I don't know if we have any pieces.
Nick Mitchell, he won a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have some of these pieces for next week.
Yeah, we'll have like a full wrap up. Yeah, we'll like a full convention coverage wrap up.
Yep.
Yeah, or at least we'll have all the award winners and everything listed.
Yeah,
but it's been a fun show. I mean, it's just wicked cool seeing everybody again. And it's Hell City, so like Derb just really has all of the different details covered. And it's been a fantastic show.
Except for the lights on the main floor, he's still got that to work out. But probably after 20 years, that's just the way he's going to do it.
I think that main hall that's the way it is. Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it. It's meant to look very like it's chandeliers and it's beautiful. It's like ambient light, but for tattooing, it's not ideal. So we all look
bring your lights.
We all look like coal miners.
That is a tip, right? Exactly. Yeah. Make sure you always bring your own lights and power strips. Yeah, exactly. No, it's great. It's such it's a great environment. This is one of my favorite conventions. It seems to me like this is a show that everybody tattoos at. Some shows are, like destination shows, and you go like Lauren, you were just talking about Tahoe, last week, and I feel like or earlier today you were talking about, and those types of shows are like you kind of have to bring your clients with you. People aren't just walking the same thing with Hell City, Phoenix. Actually, people aren't. If you're not bringing clients, it's kind of out of Phoenix a little bit. It's at a resort, so it's not like people have to make an effort to get there. And this is like right off of the most popular street. I assume the most popular street in Columbus, like right by the university. Or it seems like the artsiest.
Yeah, very busy, and so there's so much foot traffic. It seems like one if you're going to do. If you're a walk-up tattooer, this seems like the type of show you want to be at, because you can just like show up with nothing to do and work all weekend.
But you might have to apply for 5 years in a row.
Yeah. That's the downside. But do we want to pull Bruno up since he's got a?
Like I said, I'm going to make sure that all the tech is set up. Jesse Smith is setting up a seminar in the next room. So awesome. Well, thanks again. Very fun.
Bruno, how are you?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you go ahead.
I will go ahead. One of the things I want to tell you guys, for those of you watching who've never been to a Hell City before, there's a lot of pieces that pull everything together that you experience in person. Notably would be the layout. So Bruno over here has been tattooing in the balcony, and it's so cool because you get a really nice view of the floor, the stage, and a place to take it all in while you tattoo. There's layers to the way that this is kind of laid out, and it's really nice. I thought it was funny because someone had mentioned that Derb's attentiveness to detail, like video ready, everything's video ready. And I was laughing to myself because I was taking a video and the Hell City, it was just in the background so perfectly that I thought like, he really did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere you look is
It's a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What is this? You've done this show before or no?
This is my first Hell City.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I've been wanting to come for a really long time, so it's exciting to be a part of it, and it's super inspiring and a smooth running show.
You might have to scoot closer.
Yeah,
just because you're soft spoken.
Yeah. First time, and it's been great. It's been a great weekend.
Yeah. So this is your first one at all, or you don't know Arizona either?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't done the Arizona one either.
Yeah.
So the first Hell City. Yeah.
And so so I was just saying that it seems like if you show up without appointments, you get to kind of work for the weekend. Did you come with appointments or no?
No, I didn't. So I just kind of came with, the intention to tattoo a specific type of design that I had ready on my iPad, just to kind of show the client and take it from there. So that was kind of my intention. And thankfully, there was a lot of people on the convention. So I got to tattoo both on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are you like me that you like to just tattoo 2 days and then take a day off, or do you try to tattoo all 3 days?
Yeah, honestly, I was hoping that I would, I wouldn't tattoo today because I definitely wanted to make a little bit of the time to say hello to everybody and kind of watch some of these amazing artists work, and see how they do their thing, and also do a little shopping. There's some good, great products out there, raw pigments. I had to get my raw pigments for sure. And there's a lot of great merchandise and great art everywhere. I mean, it's a treat for, for us artists, to be in this kind of an environment. So
yeah. I bought a lamp made out of a radiator. I'll put, if you subscribe to fireside.com, that's not even the website. Never mind. Don't do it. I'll post it. I got a cool radiator. It's a lamp.
I saw that. Yeah. It's unique stuff.
Yeah, there really is. There's a lot of Derb does a good job of pulling together. One thing that you forget when you're tattooing at shows is that like the entertainment isn't really meant for you. You get like tattooers are just, we have weird brains. I don't know. Like anytime something isn't meant for me, I'm like, why do they do that? You know what I mean? But Derb is great about planning for the people who come through the door and actually pay for the event. And so like from like the stage shows to the types of vendors that he brings in to like just the environment that he creates, all the circus kinds of stuff, I mean, he crafts like it's a world that you come into that's completely separate from the world on the other side of the door, and he's mastered that over the years. So like I'm sitting there tattooing and a band comes on, I'm like, oh, I can't even talk to my client anymore. But it's like, oh yeah, it's not about me. It's about people who are here to walk around and enjoy the experience and listen to music and see cool tattoos. So
yeah, it's an experience for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the people that come to get tattooed, it's definitely catered for them. But I feel like at the same time, like things like the art fusion, like that's a treat, for the artist as well, to both take part in it and also see some of these amazing artists just, go at it. And like I was looking forward to that, the art fusion. That's not as common as one would like it to be.
Yeah. That had a phase years ago that I felt like I saw it a lot. And as far, I think Derb's the only one, that's the only show that I go to that does it. I've done it a few times. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about that? I was going to say about like the wet paint area.
Oh yeah.
Like that, just for.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Cool. I mean, I thought it was really unique, the way that he, distributed the areas, and also combined them at the same time. Like, you got the convent style, area, and then there's also this other area where there's some tattooing going on, but then there's also live painting everywhere, and that was really cool. That's another thing that you don't really see, and it's really an experience, like for both the people just coming to get tattooed or to check out the work, but and also the artist, like it's so inspiring, like you just take in a little bit from everything.
Yeah. And for we talked about art fusion, and basically for people who don't know what that is, it's pretty cool. You have like 5 canvases on the stage, or actually just pads. It's charcoal, and each artist starts on a canvas. And I might be off on the times, but say you have like 5 minutes to start your drawing, and at the end of that 5 minutes, you've established a drawing, and then they have a timer, and you step to the drawing next to you. Everyone steps down. One of the last person goes to the first, and then you work in like 1 minute increments from there off. Is that right? It's 5 minutes each time. But don't you have more time to start your drawing? Like
sometimes we do it that way, but
this time it was just 5 minutes across the board. So yeah. So what's cool about it in the times that I've done it is like the drawing that you start is kind of your baby that you're trying to hold on to, and then people are changing it. By the time you get back to it, it doesn't look like you're drawing anymore. And then at the end of it, they auction them all off. But it's cool. It's a cool collaborative kind of process. Everyone's working with just basically charcoal and kneaded erasers, and sometimes it's predictable. Sometimes you get a lot of skulls and tattoo stuff, and then sometimes you get really unique things happening. And but it is awesome, and especially when really skilled people, like if you craft that well and you get people who complement each other, which is hard to do at a tattoo show, but if you could almost make an event out of that if you had the right group of people,
Absolutely.
you know, together. It's really, really cool. And then to your point on the wet paint project, it's basically like tattoo. A lot of them are tattooers that instead of coming to tattoo, they set up and paint and sell their work. So you don't get that a whole lot at shows. At the shows that I go to, having gallery spaces is more and more common. Like there are a lot of shows that you can bring paintings and show in a gallery and sell, but there aren't a whole lot of shows where you have like a spot to like set up and actually work for the weekend.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I think I'd like to do that going forward. It seems like a lot less strain and stress on your body than tattooing.
Yeah, it's an option, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're confident you can sell enough paintings to justify the trip.
Yeah.
What about your experience with you've been working raw booths or like taking raw on the road for a while now? How does this type of space like compare to some of the others?
It's funny that you would ask. I was talking to a few people, maybe you guys on a recent episode, about wanting to rate the conventions with different points and criteria. Yeah, so I was thinking about rating conventions with different types of criteria, and for something like this, if you try to think about the criteria to rate, this one was like 5 stars for everything in terms of attention to detail. They actually have a recognizable crew. That's just somebody that picked up a weekend gig, and that's clutch. If you look up, the colors kind of all work together, so it creates this like immersive feeling that you're in. You can't. I've gone to so many conventions where it's great because of friends, or it's great because of the people that you're with, and far less conventions that are great because it's a great show. So this was kind of like super refreshing. I can't remember. Actually, I can remember the last time I felt like this, which was Hell City.
Yeah.
The last time I went.
Yeah.
So that's my perspective. I think it's very well done. Hopefully it continues. I can't think of what could or should be done differently. In terms of what I was doing, we had Tony that was with us at Philadelphia working on Kyle's leg is his name.
Yeah. Well, I think we showed that piece a couple of weeks ago when it was.
3 days. I think it was like 24 hours into it. Still going. He came at 9 this morning. Really intense. A lot of deep reds. I'll definitely show you next week. Killer.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The crew that's tattooing with you reminds me of. I talk about the Space City show because it's close to me in Memphis. It's in Huntsville, Alabama, but it's a lot of artists like the guys that you have with Raw right now that are like just workhorses. Like they're working till 1 or 2 in the morning. They're back at 8 a.m. working again. They're not part of any of the party scene. You're not having dinner with them. You're not having a drink with them. They're there to like to grind. Yeah, they work, and it's crazy. And that there's these groups. They'll never be on any of our shows. No one will ever meet them because they don't take time to do this kind of stuff. Like there's no way you're going to get them on a podcast, but they just put out incredible work, and just like such gigantic pieces that are so rendered.
Huge pieces.
We've been going to shows for a couple of years now, and come to think of it, every single show we've been to, we've had a 3-day piece in the booth.
Oh, wow.
So I think kind of brings up a good question in terms of artist compatibility. It's like creating, like when you travel with a brand, like for us, for that, getting a good vibe with different people want to represent your company and things like that. So it does make a powerful statement for a worker, of course, in terms of like, it's great to hang out, of course, but it's a wow factor for sure. And you don't really get a wow factor unless you put your heart and soul into that.
Yeah. Do you need to go to your seminar?
Yeah, I just heard my alarm.
I was going to say real quickly, but before you do, you were talking earlier about Lauren, about the rating a convention. And it's funny because when I think about how I rate conventions, it's just like, do they have all the stuff that I need? If I have a problem, or is there someone that's easily accessible to start it or to solve it? Like really basic stuff from an artist standpoint. How difficult is it to get through their health department stuff? So it's a completely different type of set of criteria that I'm looking at. But then you think about a show like this and the way, to your point, that they craft it, like it's branded with the color, with the way that it's laid out. And I was making fun of the lighting in the room, but that's kind of the ambiance is part of what it is. And you're right. The people who were working the show this year were working the show the first time that I did it. I don't know the dude's name with the afro that always he's always super friendly. You know what I'm talking about? He runs the Art Fusion project. That dude's been here as long as I've been coming to this show. I don't know his name. A really nice guy. What is it? Inwell? Dingwell. Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. He's like a light skinned dude with big hair. No. Are we talking about Art Fusion? No, I'm talking about the guy. Like he is a guy that helps with Weston. Yeah.
He doesn't anymore, but he ran the Art Fusion for years.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's still here, and he does the so yeah. To your point, you see the same people in and out. What's his name? Jeff that does this. The MC is awesome, and he's been doing it.
Totally.
He's been doing it all 29 shows apparently. So yeah, there are definitely levels to this, and Derb is like pinned it down. He's at the top of it for sure.
It's a smooth running machine.
Yeah.
This convention is kind of what it feels like, and I mean, it's the first time that I come, but I could tell that Derb has been on top of everything, and everything's been running smooth, and all the different departments, and
I think too, if you pull into account how it feels as a spectator coming to an event like this, it's like nerve-wracking, but at the same time, like he's made it foolproof. Like he walked through from the perspective of someone who has no idea what's going on, no idea where to go. I mean, even down to the arrows on the floor, like every single thing. And it's been helpful to me. And you think something so simple, like telling you where to go in or out the door. It's perfectly well done.
You notice, and I notice this every year here, when you try to walk in through the exit door, someone stops you and says, no, go through these double doors. Like my teenage rebellion comes in. So like, I'm like, don't tell me what doors to walk through. Okay. But yeah, fine. yeah, you're right. Well, so before you take off, tell people how to find you.
My name is Bruno Salvatierra, and you can find me on Instagram on Prismas_art, and you can send me a DM for if there's anything I can do to help.
What it is? What is it? Prism?
It's PRISMAS.
Okay.
Like it's actually like prism, but in Spanish, like
Prismas. Okay. Yeah.
Prismas art.
I always like that.
Prismas. Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time. Jesse's seminar is awesome.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's been great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
See you.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hop in if you want. We probably don't have to go too long today if we don't want. Whatever we. Fawn's got some. You probably got more inside knowledge about the show than we do.
So earlier you said something about the lighting in the ballroom.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, in my opinion, sets Hell City apart is the projection screen, so the audience can see the competitions on the stage.
Yeah.
However, for those projectors to work clearly, he has to cut the whole ballroom, and he can't just cut the front lights. But next year, or maybe by Phoenix, those are going to be replaced with TV screens. So in the future, the lighting will be as bright as we need it to be, because we won't be competing with the projectors anymore. So there is a reason to that. And yes, it drives Derb crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
It drives Derb crazy.
Yeah.
He would rather it be well lit, but he also wants the audience to see the competitions going on, because there are a lot of people that come here only for the competitions. You know what or maybe not only for, but that's their motivation. Like they drove here to compete with their tattoos that they've been working hard, and their artists have been working hard, and so sharing
a lot of people
so sharing the tattoos that the judges get to see up close, sharing those in a format that the whole audience can enjoy is really important to Derb. So it's a compromise. In order to have the projectors, he had to cut the lights, but that problem is remedied by LCD TVs or LED TVs or whatever the giant ones are. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I wasn't thinking about that, but it does also kind of like the ambiance in that room is nice for anyone that's just walking through it. It's really nice, but as a tattooer, you just have to be prepared for it. The very first year that I was put in that. Now the downstairs rooms are awesome. They're really well lit. It's just that one, it's just the main room is the only one that's dim. But yeah, the first time I was put in that room, luckily I snagged the very last lamp that was being sold by whoever, Kingpin or whoever was there. And I still have it. I brought it with me this week. So, but yeah, that makes perfect sense. They are now starting to make some projectors that are super, super bright that work in brighter rooms. I was just dealing with this down with Shaquem at Space City. We helped him with Fireside, helped him with his kind of setup for the main stage a few weeks ago. And they had these massive projectors that looked like they were state of the art, but they whatever, how do you measure it? Lumens or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
But they just weren't very bright, and they were mounted to they were rear projected,
Mhm.
and the lights were on bright, and you're right, the screen was completely washed out. You
Mhm.
couldn't see, and we even were mobile with our cameras, and we were getting close, on all of the tattoos, and I'm looking at it on on my monitor, and it looks fantastic, and then I glance up at the screen, it's like, oh, this is a waste of time.
Yep, that's a problem that finally technology has caught up. So the screens take like 6 to 8 to set up. They're actually really hard to set up, and then setting up the projectors and all that on top of it, it gets pretty intensive. So just like pulling TVs out of road cases is going to solve that problem.
Right.
But while I was down here, I wanted to share with you one of the projects that we've been working on. Todd and I from Tattoo Collecting 101. We have been, like, right now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but like right now, Todd is live. He's sharing. Oh, I think we're going to get a screen share, but he is sharing the competitions that are going on right now. Right now, as we speak, Best Large Color is going on. So Todd is there, and just with his phone, just streaming the whole thing as if he's one of the judges. Like, he can get in close, and we're working on finding our way to like get out of the judges' ways, but like close enough to get good shots of all the tattoos while we're up there. So there's like this crazy dance that's going on. But for the first time doing it, I think it's been really successful.
And you're streaming it on what platform? Just on your Instagram?
Just on Instagram right now, just because we're kind of experimental. We're going to do the same thing for Chris Taylor's show over in Indy next month. So that'll be another experimental like weekend of like how we're trying to share like what's actually being presented on stage so that everybody can see it. Like, imagine being tattooed and wanting to know what's going on stage, and like you're getting tattooed, you can't see it. But if you can pull your phone out, you can see what else you're competing against for tattoo of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, while you're waiting in line next to be staged, you can see what's on stage now. So I see a lot of potential with this, and I think it's just going to take some time to like kind of like hone our technique of sharing it. But like, this week has been our first kind of like outing. And Todd Torres, he's like a regular co-host on the show. He's been super helpful and like helping me like talk and run my mouth to all the tattooers and collectors, explaining like, what we're up to and like why we've got cameras in your faces and like what we're about. And he gets a chance to share like about the Reinventing platform with everybody too, because some people may have heard about it, some people haven't. Some people don't realize that there's a lot of amazing free content on there in addition to the canon. So it's been a really cool opportunity to like talk about what mine and Todd's goals are for the show, but also to talk about like this community that we've developed of like passionate tattoo educators. So it's been really cool just to talk to everybody and like show them this new thing that we're working on. And it's crazy how receptive a lot of artists have been when we're like, we're trying to like teach bad tattoo collectors to like not be bad tattoo collectors. Like, we want to teach people how to have like the appropriate etiquette to reach out to an artist. We want to teach people like what it's like to get tattooed at a convention and what it's like to prepare and what like to do and what not to do. And, the passionate journey we've all collected, and it's crazy how much that changes us as people. And there's not another platform out there that talks about that side of tattooing on a regular basis. And I think it's special. And, working at shows like this, it gives us a chance to all gather and come together. And like, we can, it's like hanging out with our tribe. So our goal is to share how special it is, and share that that's like a whole part of the tattoo experience, is that tribe we become a part of.
And where, sorry, when does the show air? Is it on a regular time each week?
Thursday evenings Eastern at 6 p.m.
Okay.
So
on the Reinventing platform.
Yep, Reinventing, and then we beam out from YouTube or to YouTube from there as well. But I think Reinventing is the most direct place to catch us.
And the Roku channel.
Oh, and I always forget about the Roku channel.
Yeah, so you can, if you have a Roku device, you simply search Reinventing. There's a full channel for Tattoo Collecting 101.
Yeah, that's super cool. I haven't looked at that yet. We've been talking about doing one of those. Gabe has been, he's had us uploading stuff to Vimeo. He's helped me to categorize stuff for Fireside and kind of repurpose or just make a smoother path for all of our content for people to go through. And he's like, upload it to Vimeo so that we can create a Roku channel eventually. I'm like, man, that's like being on real TV. It's like YouTube. I
It's
mean, maybe
kinda
it's the
cool.
same thing, but it feels like real TV.
We can put it on at the studio. Like sometimes I'll just put it on in the
Yeah.
lobby. So like I'll walk through and it's weird to hear my own voice.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's kind of cool for like as like clients are waiting in the lobby while we're setting up upstairs, they can just like hear us bantering about our
Mhm.
tattoo experiences. And it seems to be like a good like few minutes of prep time for the clients waiting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's cool. I feel like my clients, if I played Fireside while we were working, they'd just be like, please turn the show.
well, see, that's the so when Jordan Rukas and I kind of like came up with the idea to start our show, everybody we talked to about it, they're like, oh, you're gonna make a Fireside. I was like, no, we're kind of like doing the opposite of that, but like
Yeah.
I'm flattered. But now
Yeah,
we've got enough material that I think like once you just catch one or two episodes, you're like, oh, this is not directed towards tattooers at all. Like
Yeah.
there is knowledge in there. If you're a tattooer, you're gonna learn by accident, but it's really directed to the client.
Right,
So
yeah.
I actually like recommend if you are a tattooer and you have a client that's sitting through like a rough session, put us on, because
Yeah.
it like just hearing somebody else like remind you that you're not alone in this battle that you're in. You know, it's not you versus the needle. It's not the needle versus your soul. It's you know, going through this initiation to become a totally different person, sometimes a better person, a more grounded person, a more patient person. And sometimes you just have to go through that. And when you hear somebody else like saying those words as you're having that experience, it kind of like gives you the like wherewithal to see it out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. That's something that's needed. Even back when, as early as we started, back when we first started our channel, my clients and stuff would hear about it, look in and be like, do you have anything for client? Do you have any episodes for people getting tattooed? And I always thought, I don't know what I have to offer there. And that was 7, 8, 9 years ago. And I don't know that there's really been anything that's doing that before you guys
I
at
couldn't
all.
find anything.
Yeah.
Like before we jumped into it, I couldn't find anything at all that was like there are educational like tattoo and art podcasts and shows that like have a few episodes dedicated to client knowledge, but how is a potential client even going to find that surfing through all the like needle depth talks and the like saturation and color disbursement and like these things that like if you're not in the art community, it's going to be over your head. If you're not somewhat like chemistry or biology, it's going to be over your head. It's just they're not going to wade through all of that to get the few little morsels that are intended for them. So with that, I realized like there's a hole that needs filled. Like people that have never been to a convention need to know what it's like to be at a convention, to realize that that's the place that we learn. Like as tattooers, we've learned at conventions over the years, but like as a collector, I've learned, Hell City and Motor City were like the first two conventions that like I went to every year. And there are collectors like Todd. I didn't even know Todd yet, but like I've watched his collection grow over the years, and I've watched him go through like laser removal and like the Godzilla tattoo on his back that Megan Jean Morris covered up with that acid sheet. To even know that's a cover up is just bananas. But like if it wasn't for like just stumbling into this community because I'm a tattooer, I wouldn't have realized that there's a whole community and camaraderie between collectors as well. Like I love hanging out in the smoking area and just talking to other collectors and stuff, and like not even letting them know I'm a tattooer, just because I like it staying like just talk of collecting, because I'm equally as passionate about that as I am about the artwork I'm making. And that's something really cool about Hell City is it's just so many passionate people. Like we're here and we're taking everything in, and like the tattoo competitors, we're so like lighthearted with one another, and we're so like it's almost like we're equally amazed of one another's work. So it's not that like I don't know, maybe like for the bigger collectors that understand the community, there's not this. I guess I've been to shows where there's kind of like attitudes between different people competing. It's like we didn't even do the work. We just like love the people that did the work for us. Like we just all we can do is celebrate.
About the tattoo collecting 101 is that like I don't know where I was, but someone had mentioned like, oh, see bro, like see there's people that do this. And so sometimes we forget like of all the things that we see out there, that the collectors, the real collectors, are the really inspirational people of the world. And they kind of forget that there is a community. So with your show, a lot of them are listening and watching and like interacting or commenting and stuff like that. And it's pretty unique because then they're realizing that there is a solid family amongst themselves, which, is pretty neat.
I mean, when I can look at somebody else who's like heavily tattooed on their torso and be like, yep, I remember exactly what that was like. And like, way to stick it out, way to get through it. And there's like this fist bump or a high five, like, we've been through the trenches together of sorts. It's just one of those connections I can't compare with another, like, just broad group of people. I don't feel like I have that much in common with the average person, but you get me in a room full of people that have like been spiritually altered by these like rocking, like hard sessions. Like all of a sudden we have so many things in common, even if our work is different. And that's probably my favorite thing about shows like this. It's just that, like, we get to come together and realize we're part of a community that might not even have known existed.
It's not unlike ultra marathoners. It's these people who run 50 and 100-mile races. It's like, you don't really know. There's a small group of people that can pull that off at a high level, and like they and really people who get like their bodysuits and things like that, and get heavily tattooed. It's kind of like that. You've been in some times where you're like, oh, what if I'm coming out the other end of this? Like, I hate to just be a quitter, but you think about that all the time. You're like,
have you ever been tattooed at a show?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how, like, when you've got like an audience watching you, like, have to like be even more stoic and just like suck it up on the inside, and
absolutely.
You've got to be tough. And then afterwards, people are like, you were so tough taking it. I was like, oh no, I was crying on the inside. I was really crying, like, rocked my world.
I felt like that with getting tattooed by Bob when you guys had the cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a slow mover too, like me, huh?
Yeah.
Takes a long
I've
time.
been tattooed at several conventions myself, and it's always like that. It's weird because there's so much going on and you want to take it on and it just goes by so fast.
Yeah. Well, I've loved it. I always love this event. It's been awesome. And definitely people. And I know I probably folks on Fireside, and this is streaming to Fireside as well. We haven't mentioned the tattoo collecting podcast. We definitely check that out. Especially, I know there are people that watch. I have clients and friends of clients that watch our show. And they're like, a lot of times I don't know what you're talking about, but I just listen to it because it sounds, a lot of it's cool. A lot of it's interesting. A lot of it's over my head. So if you're one of those people, you should definitely check out tattoo collecting.
Yeah, we have fun. We have our brand of fun. We may or may not smoke a lot of weed while we're talking tattoos, but that's part of it, It's it keeps coming back to the camaraderie and the connection that we all have. So
and you're all here.
Yeah, well, so most of us are here. I would have loved to have had Chuck Deasy with us in person, but he was unable to make it.
True.
Chuck's usually here every year, but to be fair, like, there are some like regulars that are at Hell City every single year. Todd and I were talking about this.
You want to roll some of them off that have been on the show real quick? Because I know Jay and Todd.
Oh, Jay was here. Jay Grimmy was here. Forrest, of course. With Todd, Ed Livermore. Man.
These
I don't
are all
know.
people that are like big collectors.
Prolific collectors. Yeah. We're dedicated to like bodysuit style collecting.
Yeah.
So Jay's the one that's got the Ty McEwen upper bodysuit started. He's got the blue. He got his armpit kind of tied in and connected.
I saw him getting wrapped up. I talked to him for a few minutes. I know that piece well. I used that piece in our Find Your Style seminar as a way to think about principles of drawing rather than category of tattoo.
Yep.
I saw a lot of bio this weekend.
Yeah, Hell City's a bio show. I don't know if it's a Midwest thing. I don't know if it's an Ohio thing, but Hell City's always been a bio. And maybe it's because Guy's always been connected to Hell City. He's done a lot here. Maybe it's because like Derb is a bio fan. Like,
I was in the booth and I just looked up and I could see some creeping up on a guy named Ron Collins. And he has his back piece in the Biomech Encyclopedia, and I recognize it for sure. I took a picture of it, but it would be hard to tell. But stuff like that happens, and it's magical.
Yep, it's pretty cool when like you see somebody and you're like, I know that tattoo. Oh, you are a person.
Yeah. Or especially when you're even the guy that you're talking about, the Ty McEwen, that back piece, and then I saw around his side, and I was like, oh, you're the same person. You see different pieces, like you see different pieces of the tattoo, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was all on the same guy.
That's all one big arrangement.
Yeah, it's crazy whenever you find that kind of stuff. Yeah, it is funny. Like when you see someone, I can remember, and this was forever ago, back in before the internet, because it was all tattoo magazine days. And there was a dude that had, you guys may remember him. He was in every tattoo magazine. He had like a plate of like sunny side up eggs and bacon, like a blue plate of like
I
breakfast.
remember exactly the
You know,
piece
tattoo
you're
I'm
talking about. Mhm.
I saw that guy in person once at a show in like probably 2002 or something. I was like, he was
You're
like a
like,
celebrity. I was like, holy shit, I know you're famous. You're in the magazines. I don't even know who did the tattoo. I just know that guy's head. So yeah, it's funny. Even before the internet age, that you could like you recognized bodysuits, so or whatever, or you know, pieces that were famous, you know, in magazines. So do we have any questions, comments on any?
Just a few comments. Not really any questions yet. We have AZSJ.
Oh yeah.
Says, hell yeah, can't wait for Arizona, Hell City.
Yeah.
And then Jason Leeser says, wish I was there with you guys. Maybe one day I'll be able to make it on the collecting podcast.
Oh, come on,
Yeah.
come on down.
Yeah, just, yeah.
We'll have you on anytime, Jason. We'd love to have you.
And I think if it's the same SJ, is it? Yeah, SJ has been a part of a few Fireside groups for a while. She's awesome. She's the world's best note taker,
Yeah.
hands down. No close second. Awesome. Well, that's great. What have we said it all? What else do we have to say?
That's about it, right? Or
Yeah, I don't have a beer. I have to use the bathroom. All kinds of things are going south.
but we did follow through.
We did follow through into the show.
For those of you watching, thank you, first of all. A lot of the stuff can be viewed after. We'll have like you know, some of the awards, the award winners, all of this type of stuff available, which is really cool. So keep that in mind. If you feel like you missed something, you can pull still some of the seminars and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine.
If you're watching on Fireside, or if you're watching anywhere, doesn't matter. Fireside's live streaming on Tuesday, a big full torso owl that I've been working on my buddy Tim for a while. So we're gonna be live streaming from 1 to 2 Central on Tuesday. You can jump in and you know, share your thoughts, ask questions. And then finally, we have a brand new episode of 3 Minutes to Better Tattooing coming out on choosing a color palette. I've got a piece, another torso piece that I kind of got in a sticky spot and had to make some color decisions. And so I turned it into a 3 Minute to Better Tattooing episode. So that should be out the week after this week.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So we're doing stuff.
No
Yeah.
tattoo weekly tomorrow morning.
No,
so-
this is it. So yeah, I guess next week on the Tattoo Weekly. I guess, but it's Memorial Day weekend next weekend. So I don't
Jeez.
know.
Well, can you believe that's 34? We're creeping up.
34. No one thought we would make it,
No.
including me.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And we will see